What if everything you thought you knew about the discovery of America was wrong? For centuries, we've been told Christopher Columbus sailed across the ocean in 1492, claiming the New World for Europe. But what if that's not the full story? What if, nearly 500 years earlier, a group of fearless explorers from the North Vikings set foot on North American soil? This isn't a theory, it's a saga, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered. Buckle up because we're about to dive into a mystery that could rewrite history itself. This is the lost saga of the Vikings in America, a tale of adventure, ambition, and secrets buried by time. Let's journey back to a world before Columbus to uncover the shocking truth. Imagine a time when the world was smaller, yet far more mysterious. The year is around 1000 CE, Europe is a patchwork of kingdoms, and the Americas are a distant dream, unknown to most. But in the icy fjords of Scandinavia, a people called the Norse, known as Vikings, are pushing the boundaries of the known world. These weren't just raiders, they were master shipbuilders, navigators, and explorers, driven by a hunger for new lands and riches. Their longships, sleek and sturdy, carried them from Norway to Iceland, then to the rugged shores of Greenland. But did they stop there? The whispers of an ancient tale suggest they went farther, much farther. A land called Vinland, rich with promise, lies somewhere across the vast, uncharted Atlantic. Could this be America? Let's find out. Our first clue comes from two ancient texts, the Saga of the Greenlanders and the Saga of Eric the Red, written in the 13th century. These Norse sagas tell of a man named Leif Erikson, son of Eric the Red, who sailed west from Greenland around the year 1000. The sagas speak of a land called Vinland, a place of fertile soil, wild grapes, and endless forests. It sounds idyllic, almost too good to be true. For centuries, scholars dismissed these stories as myths, tall tales spun by firesides. But what if they weren't just stories? What if these sagas were maps to a truth we've only recently begun to uncover? The question lingers. Where is Vinland, and did the Vikings really reach it? Let's fast forward to 1960, to a remote corner of Newfoundland, Canada, at a place called Meadows. Here, Norwegian archaeologists Helge and Anstein Ingstead made a discovery that turned the history books upside down. They found the remains of Norse-style buildings, sod-walled structures, just like those in Greenland and Iceland. Iron nails, a bronze pin, and evidence of iron smelting pointed to skilled craftsmen, far from their homeland. Radiocarbon dating pinned the site to around 1000 CE, the exact time of Leif Erikson's voyages. This was no indigenous village. This was a Norse outpost, the first confirmed evidence of Europeans in North America, nearly 500 years before Columbus. The mystery deepens. Was this Vinland, or just a stepping stone to something greater? But Meadows raises more questions than answers. The site is small, likely a temporary base, not a thriving colony. The sagas describe Vinland as a land of abundance, with warmer climates and wild grapes. Newfoundland's harsh wind-swept coast doesn't quite fit the bill. Could the Vikings have ventured farther south? Some believe Vinland might lie in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, or even as far as New England, where grapes grow naturally. Intriguing clues support this idea. At Meadows, archaeologists found butternuts, a plant native to warmer regions like New Brunswick, suggesting the Norse traveled beyond Newfoundland. And then there are the controversial finds, like runestones in Maine, etched with Norse-like symbols. Are these genuine, or mere coincidences? The truth remains elusive, but the pieces are starting to fit together. Let's talk about how the Vikings could have pulled this off. Their longships were marvels of engineering, light enough to navigate rivers, strong enough to brave the open ocean, using the stars, sun compasses, and an intimate knowledge of currents. They island-hopped across the North Atlantic, from Greenland to Baffin Island, and then to Newfoundland. The sagas describe multiple voyages, led by Leif, his brother Thorvald, even their sister Freydis. They weren't just exploring, they were engaging with the land and its people. The sagas mention encounters with the Skrylings, likely ancestors of indigenous groups like the Beothuk or Micmac. Some meetings were peaceful, others turned violent. These fleeting interactions are among the earliest recorded cross-cultural exchanges in the Americas. But why didn't the Vikings stay? What stopped them from claiming this new world? The answer lies in the challenges they faced. Meadows was a long way from Greenland, itself a remote outpost. Supply lines were stretched thin, and the Norse population was too small to sustain a colony across the ocean. Conflicts with the Skrylings likely didn't help. Unlike Columbus's voyages, which sparked a wave of European conquest, the Norse lacked the resources, numbers, or drive to settle permanently. Their foothold in America was temporary, a whisper of what might have been, yet their presence is undeniable, and it forces us to rethink the story we've been told. In 2021, the mystery grew clearer. Scientists used tree-ring dating, tied to a cosmic ray event in 993 CE, to prove the Norse were at Meadows in exactly 1021 CE 1000 years ago. This isn't speculation, it's hard evidence, etched in the rings of ancient wood. The Vikings were here, walking the shores of North America, centuries before Columbus was even born. But what does this mean for history? Does it diminish Columbus's legacy, or simply expand our understanding of the past? The impact of this discovery is profound. It challenges the Eurocentric narrative that Columbus discovered the Americas. The Vikings didn't colonize or transform the New World, but they crossed the Atlantic, leaving footprints that time nearly erased. Their story also shines a light on the indigenous peoples who were already here, thriving for millennia. The Skrylings weren't passive observers. They traded, fought, and shaped these early encounters. This saga isn't just about Vikings. It's about a moment when two worlds briefly met, long before the Age of Empires. So why does this matter? Because history isn't a straight line. It's a tapestry, woven from forgotten stories and buried truths. The Vikings in America remind us to question what we've been taught, to dig deeper, to seek evidence beyond the page. Their voyages didn't change the course of the Americas, but they proved the world was connected long before we thought. Leif Erikson wasn't he the first to reach these shores? Indigenous peoples hold that honor, but he and his kin were the first known Europeans to bridge the old world and the new. As we stand on the edge of this mystery, the saga of Vinland is still unfolding. New discoveries, from advanced archaeology to hidden artifacts, could reveal more about how far the Vikings went and what they left behind. The truth is out there, waiting in the soil, the sagas, and the stories yet to be told. So, what do you think? Was Vinland a fleeting dream, or the first chapter of a much larger story? One thing's certain, the history of America began long before 1492, and the Vikings were part of it.